Hello and welcome back to the channel. Huge announcement just today from the UK government regarding the zero emission vehicle or ZEV mandate. That's the set of rules imposed on UK car and van manufacturers demanding they produce an increasing percentage of fully electric vehicles despite very little in the way of consumer demand. Now in some areas the government have today announced that they have abandoned it altogether. I've spent this afternoon going through all the details to bring you the condensed highlights. So let's get into it. Let's start with the claim that the government had to make these changes in response to Trump's tariffs. Absolute nonsense. We've already seen the massive damage to livelihoods, damage to decades-old British manufacturing plants and the industry at large. Maybe they think by having the tariffs as a focus, they'll save a bit of face. But in reality, these changes have had to happen long before those tariffs landed, and they know it. First change, hybrids are confirmed to stay until at least 2035. Now this is a decision they've flopped back and forth on, but in this announcement today, they've confirmed that they are here to stay. Now the details are a bit vague. I have this morning contacted the Department of Transport for clarification as that'll determine which hybrids are going to be allowed to stay. In their consult that they made public on Christmas Eve, last year, they spoke of limiting the carbon dioxide per kilometre from hybrids to 115 grams. Now that is not an awful lot. That would mean most of the popular hybrids of the moment, like Golfs, Qashqais, Pumas as well, would not be allowed for sale after the year 2030. So further clarification here is going to be essential. I'll bring you that as soon as I've got it. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I don't think hybrids offer a perfect solution, but, and it is a huge but, they offer a more realistic proposal, don't they? First off, half of the population who can't charge at home and understandably don't want to be skinned alive by public charger prices can make use of mild hybrids. These are the ones that you don't need to plug in. The smaller battery means that they're cheaper and easier to produce than a full EV. They're easier to roll out. There's no range anxiety. There's not as much of a ridiculous cost when that battery inevitably reaches end of life because it's far smaller. It is for now just a more realistic solution, don't you think? A small step in the right direction here. Now next, this is a big surprise. Certain iconic manufacturers, such as Aston Martin and McLaren, are to be granted an exemption from the ZEV mandate and the 2030 to 2035 hybrid requirements. I know, I didn't expect this either. It isn't just the hyper expensive cars included in this either, I'm glad to say. Small and micro manufacturers producing less than 2,500 cars per year will also be granted this same exemption. This is without doubt a major win. Without this change, we inevitably would have seen some fatalities with the likes of, well, let's think about it, Ariel, Caterham, Morgan, all these little British manufacturing gems. Now, there is to be a nominal reduction of CO2 across these exempt fleets after 2030, but even then, this is wonderful news. We should not underestimate the impact of it. So long as the goalposts don't shift, it means we'll continue to see Britain represented on the world automotive stage with the combustion engineering that's made us renowned. A far cry from the laughingstock that Jaguar has put out there. It is about time we had something to be proud of, isn't it? Yes, I mean, I would also rather still see simple, affordable cars being made exempt and being made available to the masses. Maybe there is a market for a small manufacturer to do that. Who knows? Absolutely something I'd like to get involved with. Finally, there's additional flexibilities that mercifully take the focus away from solely pushing on electric vehicles. So up until 2029, manufacturers will be able to claim credits by reducing emissions from their 2021 baseline by utilising things like hybrids. By baseline, what I'm referring to here is the amount of CO2 their cars were producing in 2021, 4 years ago. The reward for this is a lower mandated EV percentage for that given year. They need to make less EVs basically. Manufacturers can also transfer 1 van credit for 2 car credits, but honestly I can't see this being utilised much because another change that they've brought in is that petrol and diesel vans are going to be allowed for sale up until 2035 at least. Now, of course, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I am genuinely interested to hear them. Me personally, I still think there's too much focus on the pure battery electric vehicles. Manufacturers are still being held to these increasing targets year on year, and for that reason, I think we'll continue to see many historic new car buyers turn into the used market, as we've seen of late. Now, if that is you, make sure you're doing a quality HPI check. It's critical when you're buying a used car. The one that I always recommend is Vehicle Score. They offer a free check. Just put the plate of the car you're thinking about buying into their system, and it will tell you the good and bad points for completely free. Now, if you're serious about buying it, make sure you do buy one of their paid HPI reports. You can use my 20% discount voucher in the description below. Used to be 15%, it's now 20%. Make use of that, make sure your next car's a good one. Now, I would like to have seen other solutions like sustainable fuels having more consideration in this announcement, but I do think these changes are a small step in the right direction. But let me know what you think. If you do enjoy being kept up to speed with changes in the car world, then do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember to leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you for the next one.